So here it is, the Pacer Pride Edition Super Season Preview. Totally awesome to the max. I am Hajj, also known as Justin.
I'm Tyler.
That's
I'm here.
True.
I'm here.
Tyler is here. That'll make this a bit more interesting, other than just hearing me ramble on and on and on and off.
Finally,
Magoo is also here.
Manaya,
the
worst GM in EBL history.
I doubt that. There's been
I can try.
Yeah, you gotta try harder than you're doing right now.
I can name. Listen, until your name becomes Donor, you haven't become the worst GM in EBL history. Actually, Donor wasn't that bad. We give him a lot of hate because all the trades that he made.
He was a schizo trading machine.
Yeah, but I don't think I have room to talk anymore. So
yeah. So we're gonna spice things up this year, and we're gonna go in crazy reverse order. So I'm gonna apologize to Droppy right now because he might as well skip like 50 minutes or so into the future.
You will be last, Droppy.
We'll be last. That's the only reason we switched it this year.
Yeah.
We just don't like you, and we wanted to make sure that you had to wait the longest.
Josh is gone. There's no reason to do the Celtics first.
I know. I felt no incentive.
Yeah.
No incentive.
Good point.
So we're going to do our season preview this year, as always. Hopefully it won't be an hour and 45 minutes like it sometimes is. So
yeah, I also hope so, because I need to sleep at some point.
Yeah, I really need to eat. I haven't eaten yet. It was a poor choice not to eat first.
Yes.
Sounds
so, the Oklahoma City Thunder, perennial playoff team. What do you think of this team? I don't know. They're sort of,
Yeah, I think they need some help somewhere, but it's weird because I can't place where. Like, I'm looking at this team and I'm like, they're good, but they need something else. And then I'm trying to figure out what that something else is, and I can't figure it out.
I just think their depth is bad. Like, on the wings, their bench is, like, non-existent, and their big man depth is, like, Henry Luna and CJ Leslie, where it's like, I guess combined they'd make a really good bench player, but separately they don't work so well. I guess they got Bennett now, but he's kind
Anthony
of short.
Bennett actually looks kind of good for international free agent guy.
But he can't really cover center, I would imagine. Well, maybe he can, I don't know. But
I mean, if Henry Luna can cover anything with his C defense, then I'm sure Bennett will be fine.
Yeah.
Well, the obvious thing that jumps out on me with the Thunders, the big men do not have enough defense. I really think you need to have at least an A- defender there, and they don't.
I agree with that. I think that's been a problem with Baldwin with Baldwin for a long time.
Is that like Buzz Aldrin combined into one word?
I like to assume that Baldwin aspires to be an astronaut. So
yeah, a lawyer, astronaut, cowboy combined.
That sounds like a good ambition.
I mean, they certainly look like a playoff team, but I don't know if
Absolutely.
they can get any further than they did last year.
No, I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be surprised to see them get out of round one without some moves being made.
Yeah,
sounds about right for him. Go ahead.
I mean, Tyreek and Karan and Ninad, like, you put those three together and you would think that you have, like, an awesome super team, but, it's like the same combo they had last year, and it just didn't work well. So
yeah, well, they didn't have Evans the whole year, though. They only had him for a couple sims at the end. But,
that's true, but they still didn't make it out of the first round of the playoffs, so
yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
I don't know. Moves need to be made.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me what they are, but they do need to be made.
Yeah,
I think they need a defensive big man.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
and just depth. It seems like their depth is just not strong at all.
I mean, you're pretty much relying on Aaron Ross to do everything off the bench at this point, and that's not really a good thing. So
that's not going to work.
No.
Speaking of not good things, let's go on to the next team. It seems I need to make trades also, I suppose.
Portland? Are we talking about Portland?
No, we're talking about your team.
Oh, damn.
Kings. Things did not go so well in the TC for you. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, not.
But it's not totally hopeless. There are some good players still on the team.
Yeah, and it wasn't as bad as Mofo made it out to be, because he just listed off, like, my two worst things that happened to me and was like, sorry. I'm like, oh, well, fuck me.
I mean, I think your defense looks pretty suspect outside of center and point guard.
I was gonna say abysmal, but if you want to go suspect, that works too.
Well, but I think Ichi Tokunaga and I'm not going to say his name ever again. And Casey Hill are both seem like good defenders, but it's all the stuff in the middle. It's kind of a mess.
Yeah, I agree. Boutot going down to C+ in defense hurts, but he was actually a pretty good defender at B-. Like, not like great, but better than the B- led to indicate. So I'm hoping that will kind of stay true with the C+ rating.
But I think like with him and Harris, and with so much scoring in this league coming from those two spots, it's going to be tough because they're going to need to score a lot. I mean, they can score a lot, obviously. That's proven. But on the plus side, Michael Smith will be getting a lot of minutes, so that makes me happy.
Yeah, I'm still trying to decide between what my rotation is going to be with him and Drummond and Ichi. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah. The Kings are going to have to score at least 110 points per game to have any shot at the playoffs, and that's being generous.
I mean, if I were in the East, I'd probably be a top 5 seed. I mean,
top 5.
Well, I don't know about that. But on the plus side, it seems like all your big men can still rebound, so that'll help.
Yeah, that's nice.
The underrated rebounding skill.
Yeah.
Oh, somehow Steve Harris has C rebounding, and he's 7'3", 232 pounds.
Gee, work that out.
I'm hoping Steve Harris. I asked Mofo what his defense is at point guard. I might be able to make my 7-foot point guard dream come true with Steve Harris.
It's living the dream.
That is the one bonus of this year. So, also Casey Hill. I really like him going up and inside this TC. It makes me feel better about trading BJ Young and Reedy.
He seems like he could be a solid like game manager type of guy.
Yeah,
and I guess
absolutely.
If you put Jimmy Guerrero at shooting guard, your defense would be a bit better. But then it's like, where do you put Buto and Harris? But I mean, it's not as bad as Mofo made it out to be.
Right, but it's still not ideal.
Enough, but it's not,
certainly
especially in the West.
It could be worse.
It could be a lot worse. Like
you could be the next team on the list. Actually,
that's true. I could be
a team whose one of their best players is Drew Holiday.
That's not.
I don't really see what I need to add other than that.
That's not a good thing. Someone was raving about Portland in the chat, and I don't know who it was, but they're not.
Probably JB raving about himself.
Yeah. Are you sure they weren't just foaming from the mouth and having a seizure? Or?
I mean, they have good young pieces. I will give them that. Cabrera, Page, Ross. I mean, those three alone.
Yeah, but it's going to be a long, long year.
Right.
Because good young pieces don't tend to do a whole lot.
No.
Yeah, you got to have veterans.
Yeah. I mean, this is what Mofo and I were talking about the other day. It seems like this is the third or fourth straight year since JB's been back in the league that he hasn't been trying to win. It just seems like he's been tanking every year for a better pick. And I'm looking at his team now, really besides Cabrera and Ross, there's not much to show for that. I mean...
No, I mean, I guess there's like Cooperman is like, could play defense.
Cooperman's defense, that's it.
Ugh, I don't know. He should have just let me have Daniel Bayarno. Would have been better for Banjo, whatever. Banjo. I like calling him Banjo. It works for me.
Danny Banjo.
Works, Banjo.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a bad year for Portland, but they'll get another draft pick.
And plus, we don't know how Cabrera's going to look yet. I mean, the ratings are all good, but is it going to be like Chumley good, or is it going to be,
Fab Melo?
Right, like Fab Melo good, or like Page good, because his ratings are similar to Page, but he could play similar to Fab Melo. We just don't know. So.
Well, nobody ever hopes that. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
I would not wish that on.
It's worse than death.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on anyone not on Karachi's team.
Speaking of Karachi.
No, we're skipping over Phoenix now.
Oh.
Are we done with?
He'll be here soon.
We can't do that to Jerry. We can't do that to Jerry. Let's.
Yeah. Phoenix is. They look really old, like all of a sudden. I don't know why, but it seems like their team just aged horribly. One TC.
It would have been worse if Derrick Rose would have not retired. They just would have had the retirement home of EBL at this point.
Yeah. I think what really stands out actually to me is Charles Bond going down. It hurts on his defense.
Charles Bond, yeah.
It's upsetting because he got like a lot of money too. I only got 1 year. I thought he had like a 7-year max, but anyways. And Kuhn is pretty much, seems like he's not really going to change at this point.
No, he's stuck.
No, Kuhn's going to remain a slightly above average big guy, I'm afraid.
He kind of reminds me of G1 a little bit. Yi1, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
They're both sort of like, seem like they're going to get better and you're waiting, and it's just...
They've topped out.
Yet to happen, yeah.
Topped out as a decent scorer with average defense and below average rebounding. That's it.
I mean, I think they could still have a good year. I mean, obviously they still have a lot of talent. They still have Brun. That could be a good 6-man, and Moore could be pretty good. Well, I guess it depends which point guard they use, because I guess in a way you can make arguments for all three of them.
Yeah, I think Jerry was saying Moore in the chat earlier, so.
Yeah, Moore is probably the leading candidate.
Yeah, Moore's,
I'd consider
Moore's
DeLeon, though, because it seems like they have enough scoring that they can sort of get by with DeLeon just distributing and playing defense. But
yeah, that's true.
That's just
De Leon reminds me of Kevin Bowman from a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
No scoring ability, but could handle and defend pretty decently.
kind of like Marquise Teague did last year. Like he could sort of do that.
Teague was always a little underrated in his scoring, though. I mean, he's not going to get you 20 a game or anything, but he was decent. Probably more than DeLeon would
He
get
could
you.
get 13 or 15. I don't know.
He could hold his own, pretty much.
But I mean, I think the Suns can still, they can still compete for a good playoff spot. But I think their title window is probably closed now with this.
I think they're going to struggle to make the playoffs this year. I mean, Blackshear went down. Beasley doesn't look good. Brun looks decent, I guess. But Bond going down. Kuhn staying around the same. Like, it just seems like they're going to be either fighting for a playoff spot or just barely hanging on to one. So,
I think they're going to have one more good year, but it might be time to try and sell some of these guys and build around more and whatever other young guys they have, Kuhn, I guess. And
Bond could be an interesting expiring for a team trying to get in.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, he'll probably still be really good. He can still rebound, and his offense is underrated for what he can contribute because he's very efficient, and he scored 15 points a game last year. So
right,
he's not like a total inept to scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if the Suns go into the toilet early, I would expect Bond to get moved.
I would expect Bond and Beasley all to be gone, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess we can move on now to the Karachi boy. Jeez. David O'Neal looks good.
Yeah, I don't expect ever there to be a time where I go, you know what, David O'Neal just doesn't look that good this year.
Well, maybe not for a while. I mean, he's only 24.
Maybe in like 10 seasons or something.
Right.
Yeah. And D'Angelo Harrison, actually, I think he had a big TC because I remember him being a lot worse ratings than that before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
D'Angelo actually looks pretty good. Same with Justin Bibbins, oddly enough.
Yeah, he's a real up or down guy, but he's always pretty consistently solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, $8 million well spent on a Harrison, might I add.
Yeah, especially for an expiring, too. I mean, there's just no real risk on that. That was a good move by Karachi. See, now Karachi knows how to play FA. I know that he makes a lot of stupid illegal bids and all this and that, but he doesn't just waste his cap. You know, if he doesn't find anyone he likes, he signs a few.
Just throw something out there.
Yeah, and he signs a few, like, bench guys to expiring deals so he can try again next year. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll talk plenty about that later when we get to a certain team.
Yes. Not to name any names. It could be anybody.
Right.
I mean, I like his guards, but after that, it's sort of, I'm not really, I mean, I guess I like Holford and the rest of them.
Holford's decent.
Yeah.
J. Rich Jr. seems like he could be decent in a season or two.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think he might be a better fit at small forward, though.
I think his defense goes down there, though. I think he's going to be stuck as a big man that can shoot outside.
Oh, really?
Which is never really good, but...
No, but...
I don't know. I'm not really too hot on any of his big men.
No, I'm not either. I like...
if Hampton could rebound, obviously he'd be better, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Right now, it doesn't look like he can rebound.
Sigurvaldsson.
Just call him Siggy. Just call him Alex, I think, would be good.
Alex, yeah, I like. That's simple. We'll go with
Big
that.
Al.
I would like Big Al a little bit more if he could just score a little bit better. But I think he might be their best really option because he can just kind of do whatever and he can rebound pretty well. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess he's all right. I don't know. They're very they have good guards, but their big men need work before. I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year. I think the streak will continue of non-playoff appearances.
They're on the right track, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It'll be close, but they'll fall short, I'm afraid.
Especially with having my pick and their pick in the draft this year. I think they'll be able to make some good strides with that next year. So
Future is bright for the Lakers, definitely.
yeah, I mean Karachi's a very solid GM. I don't get along with him the best, so personally, him and I have some issues. But as far as his GMing goes,
well, I give him a 2-year window before he starts to fall into the not so good anymore category. Because obviously he won those titles really early on, but after he lost Clay, he's been kind of not had a good team at all. Since then,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I made some questionable moves.
Yeah, I agree with that. The O'Neal trade though kind of sparked my interest back in his GMing.
That was a no-brainer. I don't know.
That was an excellent move.
I don't know why they would trade O'Neal, especially after he just brought his team in the first. Anyways,
yeah, I don't. The Lakers might be able to make the playoffs this year because I've seen O'Neal take worse teams to the playoffs on the Pistons. So who knows at this point, really?
We'll see.
I disagree.
Well,
I think Pistons had better supporting pieces than he's got there.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Anywho, speaking of supporting pieces, that wasn't a very good segue.
No, where are you going with this?
Speaking of teams in LA that
there
are
we go.
There's the Clippers. They're a team.
The Clippers,
and they're in LA.
They exist.
I
love the Clippers. I love the Clippers this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I like them a lot, but I wouldn't say I love them.
Love them.
I wouldn't take them to dinner and to meet the parents.
Definite playoff team, but I don't know how far they can go. I'm not sure.
I mean, they look solid, but they don't really stand out as a team that I think is like a real contender for a title.
See, I think they do. I mean, Larry Austin looks as great as he always does. Lito is back at his original shooting guard position. Tony Ross had a big first TC. Stout actually went up on rebounding, and he should be able to contribute a little bit. Sunma is always a beast. Nico had a great TC.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they actually play up to their ratings, they could be a good team.
But I mean,
yeah. I mean, it depends what lineup he runs with.
I think
the
runs
one.
with.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, I think if he runs with. Actually, I don't know who I would start at small forward between Tony Ross and Slayton.
I'd probably start Slayton and use Ross at everything else.
Yeah, Slayton, but I think Slayton, you got to be desperate to start him. Not gonna lie, I'd take Ross.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe Marshall could slide up to small forward with his defense, and then you could have Ross off the bench still.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Either way, I think Ross this year should probably be off the bench.
I agree.
And I try and find someone else to cover at small forward, and I mean they'll get enough scoring out of Lito and Austin and Ma and Yaneko.
Nickel.
Nickel.
I don't know.
Yes.
I really like Clippers. I mean, if we're going,
I mean, they have a nice 7-man rotation. I don't know. I mean, they could be a sleeper team. They had a really great end to the year last season. They finished really strong, so
I think that kind of helped sway my opinion a little bit too. They finished really hot last year, so.
But I've seen a lot of teams finish strong and then the next year not
Just fall apart.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
they also made a lot of changes too, so I guess I shouldn't really be judging them off anything from last season. So
Yeah, we'll have to see how they do.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But the next team I guess they also made some changes. I was going to say they made no changes, but they actually moved a couple of guys around.
Yeah, they did.
But it's another really popular GM right now of the Golden State Warriors, and Tony Reale is my idol, Altry, whatever his fucking name is this week.
I do not like the Warriors. How do you guys feel?
You don't like? What's not to like? I like them. They look good.
I don't know.
No homo.
Reynolds looks good, so does Bonds. Gilchrist still can bring it. I think they'll be in the mix for the 8 or 7 seed, a lower seed, but I don't know.
I don't like their point guard situation because either they're gonna have to start Young or Reedy, or Bonds is gonna have to slide back to point guard where he averages 5 turnovers a game. So
yeah, but I mean, I think Reedy could be all right starting now as a point guard if they went that route. But, yeah, I don't think Bonds is a good point guard. I mean, that's obvious. I'm sure I'm not the only person that thinks that. But I think he's got a lot of good depth all around. And I like his defense out of his big men also helps.
I think him getting Suarez is pretty big too in free agency. I like that move for him.
It depends how many positions he can play, because I've heard he's not really very good outside of playing small forward.
Yeah,
true.
True.
His defense goes a little wonky. I mean,
Yeah,
it looks
but-
like he should be able to play everywhere, but
Right. I don't know. It just depends because I mean, Gilchrist is getting older. You know, even if it's not this year, Suarez could probably be able to start next season. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a good move, especially long term, because he's still only 25, so he
Yeah,
stays
absolutely.
young. But yeah, I guess the point guard is sort of a questionable thing, but he's got options there. Like he can go different ways about handling that situation.
yeah, and I do like Amato and Edwards as his center and power forward.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
No, they're good defensively
Not at all.
and rebounding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I might start Sanders ahead of Amato, but it would depend.
I don't know.
'Cause, his
well,
defense
it would-
went up, which I like. So.
but I think
For the defense, yeah.
I think Reale was
Go
talking about running an inside offense this year, though. So
Oh, well,
Yeah, Dustin
don't-
wouldn't be a fit then.
no.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They look like a team of people that will do some things.
They do have
They-
players and stuff.
Yeah.
This
And
is-
you know who else
well-
has players?
Is it the next team we're going to talk about? Whoever that is, Memphis.
Yeah, you're starting to figure out my tricks for segues.
What
and-
tricks? There are no tricks. This is all completely random, and you're spontaneous.
I
Let's-
know.
Let's talk about the
unfortunate.
Grizzlies.
Okay. First of all, Beck, Jones, and Clay all look great.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, that's
Oh yeah.
hasn't
Bo-
really changed.
both
Second
do.
of all, their big men look like garbage.
I don't. Ooh, I don't know.
It's like Jay Hood, and that's it.
That's
washed
it.
up,
Hood's- yeah.
washed up Bynum and Christmas.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Hood's okay, but
I don't know.
I don't know about center. It's just not good enough there.
I don't
They
even
got,
like. I don't even
three
like Hood that
really
much.
like washed up guys that used to be really good, and now they're sort of just like barely clinging on to a career.
Yeah, I mean, if we were building an all EBL team, Memphis would have the best big men defense in EBL. But unfortunately, they're not 24 anymore, and they're all just kind of garbage now.
Yeah. But they have T. Jones, which will help a lot with the rebounding and the
Oh
defense.
yeah, for sure.
He can still go, definitely.
But I don't know. They really. I mean, it's the same thing. It feels like it's been like that for a while now. They need better big men
Yeah.
Yeah, and they need to get a little younger, no doubt.
up front. They certainly.
Mm-hmm.
They need like a young center that can. Like, I don't even think they need like amazing big men. I just think they need like a capable, like one really capable forward, and then one whatever regular sort of guy to pair with it.
Yeah, one specialist or something,
Yeah.
like a defensive specialist.
Like Hood doesn't really specialize in anything.
I think they really messed up by trading Shabazz for so cheap. Because I think if you gave him some time at shooting guard, and because he cannot play small forward, we all understand the fact that he can't play small forward. But Shabazz has always been a average, above average starting shooting guard. Like he's never really faltered from that ever, and I can't imagine it'd be any different now. So I just don't understand why he went for so cheap. I mean, he went for Hassan Whiteside and
But he's got no use on the team because he's got T. Jones.
right. But you
And
know
you
what
don't
would
want-
have more use rather than an expiring in a first would be a capable big man on a team that had big men and needed a shooting guard. I mean,
Yeah, but it'd be hard for him to sell him because he'd have to intentionally not start Jones just to show Shabazz could still play. And then there's a chance that he couldn't play, and then,
Then
guess.
it all goes to pot.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd be worth it because I think Memphis is probably going to be a playoff team either way, and I don't think they'll get very far in the playoffs without a capable big man. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, they got first they can trade along with a contract to get somebody, and they obviously got some contracts that are movable, like Hassan's giant one. They can probably get a couple big men for that if they were
yeah, that's
so
true.
inclined.
I don't know. It just seems weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
whole-
they're good, but they still need a center, as they have for the last seemingly forever. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll get in, probably steal a game in the first round, but lose out.
Yeah, probably.
And then
That's
Shadow will
right.
finally give into his inner trade whore and explode all over the place.
Did-
So everybody get ready for that.
Did Terrence Jones actually get better? I feel like he wasn't as good at offensive
Yeah,
attributes.
I think he went up a little bit inside.
I think he probably did too. I have a backup site here open. I'm just lazy, so that's cool.
Well, there you go. We'll just assume he did. Great
Yeah.
tease for Terrence Jones.
No, he actually did. He went up. He went up and inside. So good for you. Good for
There
you, T. Jones.
MVP
Mhm.
candidate.
Absolutely.
Speaking
Could
of
get it
MVP
done.
candidates,
MVP.
there are none. on Utah.
Ooh, yeah.
Look at that defense.
Utah.
It's a lot of B pluses just flying across the board.
I mean, they're
a lot
kind
of average.
They're kind of in Minnesota territory now, where they only have big men who can defend, and everyone else is just a liability.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And, I mean, I don't know. It feels like Dale Smith has gotten worse, but I think he might have the same ratings, but for some reason he doesn't look as good as he did.
He has the same ratings.
He does? Okay.
Yeah. Nairn went down in defense. Virgil went down in defense. I mean...
Yeah, he's
Shabazz.
back to the problem he had before of defense.
Shabazz went down in defense. Danny Young went down in defense. Even Kim Birch, I think, went down in either defense or rebounding.
Yeah, it seems like defense is not a big deal for Utah. I don't know what their training camp went like, but...
They only practice shooting.
Okay.
There was...
that would explain a lot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know about this team. I don't even think they won't. I don't know if they'll even sniff the playoffs. You need defense to get somewhere.
No, see, I disagree. I think they'll easily make the playoffs. But I think once they're in the playoffs, that's when I think they'll struggle. Because I think Minnesota proved last season that you can make the playoffs on just offense alone, but once you get inside the playoffs, you need defense to stay alive.
It's true. That's true.
Plus,
fair point.
I feel like Devontae is probably going to do a lot of trading because he seems pretty down on his team. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them blow up and then not make the playoffs, obviously, if they trade away a lot of their pieces.
I don't know. I've seen his trade block, and listen, at first it was fire sale, and then it was fire sale, but Pete Harris and Dale Smith aren't moving, and now it's, well, I'm still looking to trade these guys, but it's not a fire sale anymore, so I don't know.
Well, Marsalis Johnson could become an interesting piece come the deadline.
Yeah, absolutely. There will be team. I mean, if Utah's not very good, I mean, Birch, Mars, maybe even someone like Nairn or Virgil. Those could all be guys that a lot of teams are interested in.
Yeah, they're definitely guys that can push a team over the top. Like, if you need a scorer, he's got guys that can do that. And if you need a big man that can defend and rebound, he's got some guys that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But Mars seems like a top candidate for sure, as expiring as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of value.
Kim Birch, I can't place why Kim Birch looks so different. Oh, he went up and inside, up and handling, down and rebounding. That's why Birch looks so different to me.
Well, that was pointless.
Yeah, very
like he's ever been there to score.
I know. But maybe he can crack 9 points a game this year. It could happen.
Yeah, well, it could. He finally got 10 points there that couple of years ago. So.
Oh, with the Lakers when they had no one else who could
2022.
Yeah,
I remember that now. That was actually that was his best season ever. I mean, just stat-wise.
He got like 15 rebounds a game.
And 4 blocks and 10 points.
It helps because nobody on the Lakers could make a shot, so they were bouncing repeatedly.
Yeah, that team was pretty bad. I remember that team. I feel bad for Kim Birch that he doesn't have a title. Someone needs to make that happen. It's not going to be Devonta, though. So
you know who does have a title? Everybody on their next team.
Is it, what team? Is it,
it could be Denver, too, I guess, but...
Yeah, I was about to say. There are a few teams.
But no, it's the Spurs. The Spur boys.
Oh, yeah, wow, you're right, because they didn't make literally any changes this offseason.
Yeah, and they also didn't make any changes almost since they've had their GM.
Yeah, I'm noticing a pattern here.
Yeah, he's very confident in what he's bringing to the table right now.
Confident, not active, whatever you want to call it.
He's content to go with what he has.
Yes. They look like the same team as last year, except Joe Brake is a bit worse on defense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to say.
No, there's really... It's surprising me that Gary Hamilton is still hovering around that B handling thing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to show up in his actual production.
I don't know. I still hate him. Making me lose a 6-month name bet. Fuck yourself. I hate him.
Yeah. All right, fuck the Spurs. Let's move on. We'll put as much effort into that review as their GM puts into trading.
So I'm just gonna edit all of that out so that there's nothing.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I should have audio put a clip of what I said last year over that instead. I don't need to change what I say.
Maybe I'll still do that. Maybe we can edit that in. Let's talk about the KWO.
I will not call them that.
No?
Let's talk about the Timberwolves instead.
The Cooper Wolves?
This new expansion team in EBL.
Minakuta?
Yes, Dear God.
Oh, no.
I think Kenneth Marshall going up to A-, if that legitimately means he's shooting better, could be huge
Yep.
for them, obviously.
Yep.
Their wing defense is still absolutely god-awful with Robinson
it's
and Perez.
Yep.
But they have Alderman there, so if he can play shooting guard too, it can sort of cover if they get in foul trouble or whatever shenanigans they get into.
Yeah, I think Malagigi going down into, like, C defense, like...
Yeah.
I know Koo had to be expecting him to, like, go up or, B-
stay the
defense.
same at least.
Yeah, but, he's into that, like...
I think, yeah, that's bad, and their big men are, like, 2. That's it.
Well, I like Cantor. I mean, I love Cantor. But...
Oh, no, I like the 2 guys they have. I'm just saying that.
Oh, yeah.
Else.
You're saying
That's
besides
Fab
those
Melo. Fab Melo is their top option as a 6th man.
I wouldn't. I'd say Keith Thornburg, just because I know how Melo plays. I mean...
I would sign Perry Ellis off of free agency and play him.
I would.
Melo.
I would trade for Satnam Singh Bhamarara at this point.
Yeah, I would. I'd trade for Bob Marley too and put him in there. I think they'll score a lot. If Alderman can cover at the wings, I think it'll help because his defense would help cover up a little bit. And I don't know who their backup point guard's going to be. I guess that could sort of be an issue, but
Bob McCoy? Is it going to be Bob McCoy?
it could be. He went up again in TC. He's up to a D- somewhere, so he's obviously improved.
Outside.
I assume their backup point guard will be Duran Lamb in like a 6-man type role,
True.
or Pryor Veda Bonkor.
The Belgian guy.
Right.
That Boncal.
The French guy.
France, actually.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Well, they speak French in Belgium, so.
Yeah,
Pryor
sure.
actually had a pretty decent TC. I remember him only having C inside last year, and he actually played decently, I guess, for what you can say. I don't think he's a bad option if you did want to go with him. So, I mean, this team, it looks decent. I mean, I think it actually looks a little bit better than they did last year.
I think if Marshall can actually keep defenses a bit more honest on the inside, I think they'll be a lot better.
Yeah,
and they could actually maybe even win a playoff series. But they need another big man off the bench, and they'll have to figure out how to handle Alderman and Lamb's minutes between them.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind Marshall actually went up in defense too. He was only A- last year, so
yeah. I mean, he was already like a defensive player of the year candidate.
And Sip Van Sip went up in defense too. So
yeah,
I mean, a little bit
actually better. It would actually help.
A little bit better
legit.
this year, guys.
Sip's legit, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Timberwolves or Minnesota or whatever name you want to call them.
The Barracuda Timberwolves.
Barracuda.
KWO.
The Blue Barracudas, Legends of the Hidden Temple style. Let's talk about guys who...
The 2006 draft pick team?
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
Jeez. 7 first-round picks. So I'm getting a feeling Thug's probably not trying to win much this year. I don't know.
I don't know where you get that impression from. He seems like a winner.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, they're gonna win the title. Forget that. No.
It's true. They're certainly they're a heavy sleeper candidate. Very, very heavy sleeper. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, even Juan Johnson went up in TC.
Yeah. Yeah, he sure did.
Fuck my life.
The Rockets, for what they're trying to do here, they actually don't look terrible. I mean, look at how many picks he's collected. He's collected so many firsts this year.
Well, when he wants something, he can get them. He obviously wanted first this year, and he got a lot of them.
Yeah, and he actually has some good young talent on the team currently, too. I like Decaser. I like him a lot. If he could learn how to rebound, that'd be awesome.
I like Cromartie actually had a big TC, even though I still fucking hate that guy, but he did have a good TC.
I really wish you would have kept him. I really think he would have been great for your team if you weren't so pissed about getting CPU'd.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have given him minutes with his rebounding anyways.
That's true.
If Juan Johnson actually has that defense at center or power forward, he could actually still have some hope of being a useful bench piece.
I highly doubt it. I think he goes down to what, like at least
he did before, but maybe now he's gone up. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah.
Lance Burton is starting to finally live up a little bit to his top 5 pick status.
I mean, I wouldn't get too excited yet, but
I'm not too excited. But at least he's got his strength now. He can play defense and
yeah, that's true.
Outside of it.
Yeah, he can.
And he's still 21, so
yeah, he can always improve. Absolutely.
And Mike Spence is all right, I guess.
No, he's garbage. Absolute garbage.
He's hot garbage.
Hot garbage. Not even. I don't know. He might have a good year. Whatever.
So I'm going to predict the Rockets don't finish in last place.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
pretty bold.
Ruining Thug's entire plan of finishing in last place.
I see. I mean, I think the Blazers are going to be worse. I think.
And John Wall could score a lot of points this year.
I think the Blazers are going to be worse. I can't really find another team that I can say.
The Blazers will definitely be worse.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the next team will probably be worse too. Those shitty Nuggets.
Oh, I thought we were skipping ahead to anyone on the East, but.
Ouch. Anyone? Anyways. Speaking of team that would probably dominate the East and the West, Denver. They're going to be good again. That's my prediction. I don't care if they don't look like they have a point guard. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done with that. I gave up on that last year.
Yeah,
never doubting this team again.
Especially with Pierre Lewis improving and handling and rebounding. Like, he needed to get any better.
Yeah, because why not?
Right. Wiggins went back up and outside, but he went down in rebounding, so that is definitely something that matters.
So he's clearly on the decline. You should just trade him now.
I'm pretty sure Kearney went up too. I could be wrong, but he looks like he went up.
Why not?
Kearney looks better.
Newkirk went up. I think everybody went up.
No, Sim Bueller went down.
Oh yeah, that's true. And Kyrie Irving is about the same.
Yeah.
I guess the question is who's going to be their point guard. If you really needed to ask a question, I'd imagine he'll probably use Kearney as a point guard, maybe. But
I think it's still Irving. I think Irving will definitely start. I think Wiggins will be their sixth man again. Kearney will start at small forward, whatever.
I think they're better when Wiggins starts and Kearney is a sixth man or starting at point guard.
I agree. I'd rather.
Feels like Wiggins is just wasted because he's not very good as a power forward and a center. I mean, he's not bad, obviously, but he's not really meant to play those positions.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Whatever Polo does, it'll work, so fuck it.
Yeah, I think they'll be a title contender. That's if I'm going out on a limb.
Bold prediction.
I know.
Very.
What do you guys think? You see any big glaring weaknesses in this team?
Not really. Point guard is an issue, definitely, but I think they can overcome that. They'll be fine.
Yeah, I think they're still good.
So you heard it here first. Denver might have a good year. They might break that pattern of elite years, and they might drop down to really, really good year. So
while we're just making bold predictions here, I mean, Denver might have a good year here in EBL. I think. No, you know what? I don't know where I'm going with this. Let's talk about Dallas.
Dallas?
I like Dallas.
They could have a good year, too. Matt Yoder looks like even better. I mean, I thought he played really good. I don't know if it was just something about playing with the Clippers that made him worse, but he seemed to be playing a lot better once he got to Dallas.
Yeah. I
don't know why. I don't know if Teague is better at distributing to him or whatever the scenario is. But, yeah, they look good. I mean, there's still some issues, like Cody Zeller could be starting at power forward, which is sort of dicey.
No, Chris Brown will definitely start. That team, when Chris Brown got injured last year, just looked abysmal. I don't know what it is about Chris Brown, but apparently he's actually
those sweet handling skills he's bringing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know, whatever.
He's balanced, I suppose, all around.
Yeah, I think Devane, shooting guard again, will not be a great thing, but I don't know what else you could do there. So
he scores a lot, at least.
Yeah,
so, but I mean, about that. And he's got Alex Murphy, who's a good bench guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He can cover small forward to point guard if you really need him. He's not ideal, but he's a better point guard than anyone else they have, I would say.
And I think T going down at scoring hurts him a little bit too.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
offense will be hard to deal with because they don't have as much scoring, but
they'll defend. They'll stay in a lot of games.
Yeah.
But I guess I could see them not making the playoffs this year.
I can see them being right around where they were last year, where they kind of hover in between like the 5 and the 10 seed all year. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I'm not as high on them as last year, but I do like Yoder. I think Yoder could have a big year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Yoder's
he might be the best guy on the team. Well, other than Niu is probably the best guy, but he might be the second best guy on the team.
I mean, those two will carry that team for a while, I think. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure this team, built as it is now, can make the playoffs. They're going to have a hard time scoring, except for Yoder.
Yeah, well, and Niu can score pretty good.
Yeah, Niu can.
Niu's decent.
Mm-hmm.
At scoring. I think he's a much better defender than he is a scorer. That's just me.
Well, yeah, I think he brings a lot, especially if his rebounding helps.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of young teams, even though we weren't talking about young teams, Toronto is a young team. They got a lot of young guys on their team.
Speaking of something we weren't talking about.
Yes.
Well, they do have a lot of young guys.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
On the downside, their best player is Ernest Fowler, but one of their best players is Kevin Farrell.
Right.
But he had a monster TC.
Yeah, he looks awesome.
On paper.
I'm not sure if I would call Ernest Fowler their best player. I don't know. He just doesn't click with me.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess you could argue Farrell is he might be better, at least looking at his ratings right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think this team could be pretty good, especially in a weaker Eastern Conference. I mean, they have a good 3-man rotation with Ridley, Woodbury, and Fowler.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they have LeClaire and LeBron, too, and Farrell.
LeBron kind of disappointed me this year. I expected a bigger TC from him.
Yeah. I think I still think he's going to end up being a really good 6th man in the end.
I think he's gonna end up being like a Domingo type of player. Honestly, that's what I see from him.
Possible.
I think he's a little small to be playing that, unless you mean like Domingo at shooting guard. But
I think he could play small forward.
He seems a little light, and his rebounding is a little not as strong.
A little iffy. Yeah, he's a little undersized for it.
I don't know. He's 6'6", 227. I mean, I can name a lot of.
Yeah, there's probably smaller ones than him.
I mean, just because I'm starting a guy who's 7'3", 232 at small forward. Listen,
I think Toronto will probably just miss the playoffs, but they won't be at the bottom of the barrel, as it were.
No, and I can actually see them sneaking into the playoffs. Tsai Ying-ming made some big strides this TC. Kevin Farrell obviously blew up.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them sneaking in, but I just personally I don't think they'll sneak in. But
yeah.
maybe I just have more respect for the East than I should.
Yeah, I don't. I don't at all. No offense to you guys.
Speaking of teams I have no respect for.
The Bucks.
What are they doing? I do have respect for them. But
what are they doing, guys? I don't get it.
They can't really seem to decide. It's like they were rebuilding. I assume they were rebuilding when they traded me Adonis Thomas.
I think everyone did.
Yeah, and then they traded for Keith Frazier.
No, first they traded for LJ Rose, and then they traded LJ Rose and got Keith Frazier. I just don't understand. I don't get it. Now they have no point guard. Now their team doesn't.
Now they're like they're like a 7 seed.
And when are people going to learn that Keith Frazier's not good? I mean, listen, I know he can
I don't think
score.
that he's not good. I just think that he's good. He's not great. I'd say he's good. I mean, he does score, you're going to get, over 20 points a game. What his career averages pretty much sum up with
22 points per game.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I understand. But I don't think it's any coincidence that every team he's been on has gotten better, and most of them have won a championship once he left. I mean, the Lakers, he was there for 4 years. He left. They won 2. He was on the Nuggets. He left. They've been dominant ever since. I just...
Well, he left the Heat, and they haven't won anything yet.
Well, that's not his fault. That's Seattle's
So get on the Heat bandwagon now, actually. It seems to be the pattern. The Heat will be winning titles soon.
Well, I don't know.
Because they got rid of Keith Frazier.
Seattle Sluh kind of fucked that whole plan up a little bit. Those are some
Doesn't matter. They got rid of Frazier. That's the first step towards recovery.
That's the title, yeah.
That's a good point. All
right. I'm going to say the Bucks can maybe finish 7th or 8th. and basically they won't have a good. I guess. I mean, I know he really wanted to not finish bad because he doesn't have his own pick, but at some point it's kind of like,
What do you expect?
you're rebuilding. You're going to be bad either way. Either stick to trying to compete or don't.
Rebuild. Yeah, because
Instead
they
of
have
getting this
they have
ugliness.
no point guard. They have no small forward. They have
And they have
no
Dwayne
depth.
Todd. Come on, he went up inside.
That's valid.
It's huge.
Right.
It's huge. Trust me, he's got a big ear.
He looks fucking awful. Let's move on to the Pacers. Bucks are making
Let's
my head
move on.
hurt.
You're just that depressed. You feel that bad for Derek Favors.
Yeah, this is a far cry from the Mofo days.
It really
Yeah.
is. Mofo
It's
league.
been a pretty sharp, drastic drop.
Yeah.
Yep.
But speaking of drops that are whatever, like rises, I suppose, not drops. The
Speaking of-
Pacers
Speaking
look
of
like
opposites.
great. All of a sudden,
Yeah, Pacers look really good. Where did this Blodgett TC come from? I don't get it.
he's went into the Jason Terry playbook of having a good TC really later on into your career.
I guess. I don't know. They have a lot of depth now with Chris Thomas, Eric Bauer, Michael Carter-Williams, Blodgett,
Yeah,
whatever.
He's got like the good problems where it's where you're gonna stick certain people. I mean, now he can move Thomas back to shooting guard where I feel he's much better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Obviously, I guess you'd want to start Bauer as small forward, but I don't know. It's because MCW is kind of like he's just a shooting guard, really.
Yeah, I
Just
think he
shooter.
could,
Period.
I think he could do well in like a six-man type role though, because he can score enough to make it work. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have to be great defensively or handling. And at point guard, he'd probably only get like 8 minutes a game anyway. So
Yeah, I guess that's what I would do, but I'm sure he'll be trying to shop him around for.
I'm
other
sure, and it's
pieces.
not a bad idea. So
And O'Brien went up on defense, which I think will help a lot.
yeah,
If
that's great.
Actually, legitimately better.
And
I mean,
Randall, still looks decent.
Yeah, they got Chumlee. He's good off the bench.
Yeah.
They look good. They're certainly a contender in the East,
I think Pacers probably grab the 2 seed this year.
especially with the Bucks and Pistons falling off, and their division is kind of
Kind of.
really, really open.
Yeah, especially
It's,
after
it's
that
pretty
as well.
much like them and the Bulls, I would have to guess.
I don't know. I hate the Bulls this year, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, well, I hate them because they have no bench, but I also understand that they can compete without a bench. But we'll get to that later,
Right.
as you said.
Let's move on to a team that doesn't have a point guard anymore. Kind of.
Yeah, I don't understand why they blew up their team.
No,
I don't
but
know.
can I just say, holy shit, Scott Duncan looks like an absolute beast.
does.
Duncan's gonna be a star.
Like
But
I don't
I
understand.
still don't know if he should be starting at point guard. I
No,
still
he
think
shouldn't
he'd be
be.
better as a beastly sixth man,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
or a small forward if
or
he really
shooting guard or not point guard.
Yeah, I don't like him as a point guard.
No,
Do not like.
Well,
I mean
Thumbs
this team would be so good if they had an O'Neal at point guard, Duncan at shooting guard, Selden at small forward.
If they had the same guys they had last year,
They could win a title.
yeah, they could win a title.
Mhm.
They'd be far and away probably the favorites in the East.
Yeah, I don't
and-
get it.
The past history, the East has done pretty good in the finals. Actually, I mean they've had some Game 7 losses, so it's not like the best team in the East can't win a title.
Right.
It's not.
yeah, they're competitive.
I don't know. I do like the few of the guys that he drafted though. Tim Drake at only 17 looks ridiculous for a 17-year-old.
I didn't even know we could have 17-year-olds.
I didn't know either, but apparently
I
if
thought there was some sort
Apparently
of
we
like,
can.
some child labor laws being violated by EBL right now.
well, I mean we are in, 2026.
I guess
Yeah.
things have progressed. The society has changed.
Society's
in
changed.
Ways we can't measure.
I'm sure they can probably buy cigarettes and drink alcohol at this point. So
Yeah, drive planes,
yeah.
whatever.
Other things. I like the big center he took too, Tryggvason or whatever.
The Viking.
Yeah, the Viking. I actually kind of like him. He looks decent.
Mhm.
Yeah, he looks solid.
I don't know.
They don't have a power forward this year.
No,
And,
unless you want to, you can
well-
slide Jonas down, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't really see a real good third scorer. But I mean, they could get a low end playoff seed in the East.
I think they'll
But-
probably make the playoffs, but it'll probably be like as an 8th seed.
But I'd really rather they had kept O'Neal.
They could win a title with O'Neal. Now we're talking about how they'll maybe win.
And everyone would still be young, so he could have kept that core and still kept building around it.
That could be a dynasty if they had kept O'Neal.
I don't get it. I mean, O'Neal and Duncan alone would have just been enough, like, to at least win the East. I don't know.
It's just, it's silly. Speaking of silly teams, how about those silly Cavaliers?
Silly.
More like silly great, huh? Am I right?
I actually kind of like the Cavs this year a little bit, especially in the East.
I think we're a lot better than everybody thinks we're gonna be.
I think you're a lot better than last year, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, we were freaking horrible last season. No excuses there.
I mean,
I still think there's I guess the rebounding won't be that bad because Stokes probably better than ratings imply at rebounding.
Rebounding's gonna be an issue for this team.
Dobbergast,
but I think we'll be all right.
Though Dobbergast and Ashford.
Yeah, and the good thing is that Ashford can be moved to shooting guard or small forward depending on how that's
depending
approached.
on need. Yeah.
And, Dick Johnson off the bench will be able to rebound too. So.
Yeah. I'm not sure who I would start at point guard. It's kind of tricky to pick between even Barnyard or whatever the hell his name is. Barnstormer. Yeah, that guy, Barnstormer. He seems like a good TC too. So.
I always assumed the B was silent. I always called him Yarnison.
Yeah, I would think it would be.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's like Icelandic.
Theater Yarnison? Theater Yarnison. That's what we're going to go with.
Yarnison.
Theater Yarnison.
Theater.
Well, I found a new funnest name to say in EBL.
I do. Until I figure out how to say Sigurvaldsson, and then we'll...
Someday.
One day. Overlock seems like he's making some pretty good strides, though.
Overlock
as long as he can learn to play defense somewhere down the road. But he's like 20, so yeah.
He's got plenty of time. I'm not worried.
And I did like the trade you made with the Cree. He's not the best defender in the world, but he can sure score. So.
And he's a great sixth man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's tall, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you do with this team. I mean, I would be prone to starting Yarnison just because he can rebound at point guard, which is going to be a huge thing for you. So.
Yeah, but then it sucks because then Overlock doesn't get to play as much.
Doesn't get the minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you just have... It's not that your team is bad. It's just like everyone's around the same. So
yeah, I mean we're going for it this year, but I think we got a shot to get in. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
if the rebounding can be up there, I think Ashford will help too because he can rebound.
Yeah,
and Drabagabasti there, he can also rebound. I like the names on your team too. They're really easy to say.
Right.
And Joe Monday's good. I like him because his name's really easy to say.
Yeah, he didn't do anything in this first training camp, but I have no concerns over him whatsoever. He'll be fine.
And he kept his A potential, which is good.
And his name is easy to say. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He's got that.
Or is it?
It could be Joe Muande.
And if he ever gets good, you feel like he could have a catchphrase where like everybody hates Mondays.
Yeah.
Bam. All right. Now that that horrible joke is out of the way, let's see a horrible joke of a bench.
Oh no!
What
the
bench?
Bulls.
The Bulls. Oh, the Bulls.
I guess the plan is for Luigi to play like everything off the bench.
Yeah, I don't. Ooh. What do you do if you're the Bulls? Like, what do you?
I think James McAdoo also. I think he went down.
Do you just hope that you luck out in waivers like a lot? Is that? I mean,
pretty much. I think Perry Ellis would be starting at power forward for this team. Well, not starting, but he'd be their best sixth man.
No, he'd probably start at center. Grant Jarrett's a great power forward.
Oh yeah, that's true. And then I guess you could use McAdoo off the bench, but they need a bench.
They need a center, is what they need.
Well, yeah, they also need a center. They need a center and a bench.
Center and a bench.
They have four really good starters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
What else add?
They have four really good starters, and then you stop, because that's literally all they have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the defense of Haynes and Scott is also kind of lame. But they seem to play a bit better than their defense does.
That's true. At least Scott went up in defense. He was a C++.
I mean, as the playoffs showed, I mean, this team had almost a pretty similar lineup last year, and they won a playoff series. So
yeah, we'll see.
Basically, having a bench is useless. It seems like to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know.
Speaking of teams that had not so good off seasons,
Oh, the poor
the Hornets.
Oh man.
You lose Cool, and then you trade Eric Bauer, and he explodes.
Yeah.
And
Man, oh man.
On the plus side, Nick Faust is like really happy because now he can start again. Or Justin Anderson. They're both thrilled.
I
Not
assume,
that you want to start either of them.
I'm actually gonna go ahead and say he probably moves Aaron Harrison to shooting guard from point guard and starts him,
Or James Alcorser.
or anyone besides Nick Faust and Justin Anderson.
Yeah.
Ouchie. You don't want them.
Yeah, no, not that great.
I mean, I still think they're all right.
they're decent.
They have some. For some reason, Cheeky and Dai can shoot outside all of a sudden. I think of an outside offense. They have a lot of good outside shooters.
I think it might hurt Dunn a little bit to be in an outside, though. I mean, we'll see. I don't really know.
Well, I think just with Willis and their big men are slightly more outside. They got some good rebounding.
Yeah, that's true. I think they could be decent. You're right.
It just sucks. Basically, it sucks for them because they lost a good player.
Yeah, it really does.
They basically got like 2 months out of him.
Mm-hmm. Awful luck.
Poor SC. I feel bad for him, but he handled it like a man. He hung in there tough.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of the asshole who stole him away,
Just
good news
one
for the Hawks is they have Adrian Cole. So.
One team later, and
One team later. Maybe he
Same
just wanted to move up.
division.
Yeah, same division.
I just don't know where all these guys are gonna play. I mean, he's got like
Yeah,
Westbrook,
he's got 3 shooting guards that
Yeah.
can't play anything but shooting guard.
right? I mean, I guess you start Parker Jackson Cartwright at point guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
don't
can't
know.
start
I mean,
Westbrook there. He'll turn it over 8 times a game.
Yeah, him and Cole are going to be quite the turnover combo,
Yeah,
regardless of where they get put. I mean, I guess Cole will be moved to small forward. I guess.
likely. I mean, he's played there before. He did decent.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, PJC, I suppose, will be the point guard. Their big men are all pretty lame.
Yeah.
Cinnamon ball movements is not so good.
Bowers is decent. Bowers,
Yeah, but
is
he
the
can't
best big
rebound.
man. Yeah, but he's the best one they have, at least. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he can't rebound.
yeah.
Ever. He's never been able to rebound. I actually like Anti more because at least you know he can get 10 rebounds in a game.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Last year.
Well, not last year he only
28
played
minutes.
28 minutes.
But 2 years ago when he played 33 minutes, he only got 9.4. So
Yeah, well, I don't know. I would trust him to get the rebounding.
yeah, maybe. And BJ Anya.
I think they'll get so much scoring out of Cool, PJC, and Westbrook that
They're not going to need anything else.
Bowers doesn't really need to be there to score.
True.
I mean,
Anya can rebound pretty well too.
So
Yeah.
could Trey Lyles.
Maybe they should. I guess they might consider running outside because Cole can probably score in pretty much any offense.
Right.
And Westbrook and PJC would benefit a lot from an outside.
Yeah. And none of their big men are going to score anyway, so you might as well.
And plus, you have like Bullock. I guess could be all right off the bench. And
Delgado.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other Delgado.
The other Delgado.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned, it'll always be the other Delgado.
Well, we're heading down to home.
We could skip the next team. They're not very good.
Right.
Oh,
If we
They'll
had
probably, they'll probably win the East and win a title. All right, next team after that. 76er. Okay.
If we didn't skip the Kings, we're not skipping the Wizards. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, you guys can go first, and then I'll rip your arguments apart with lies, with my lies.
I don't know. I like the Wizards. Can we just leave it at that?
Nothing really stands out to me, but they're a good, solid team. I wouldn't complain.
See,
They're all-
I like that nothing stands out to me because no weaknesses stand out to me either. I mean, you've got a good. I know he, disappointed a little bit in TC, but Frank Layton's still a good starting point guard. You have Adonis Thomas, who's a great starting shooting guard. Domingo had a great TC and looks like he could be a really good starting small forward. The bench isn't bad with Terhune and Salib and Tracy Abrams, Aaron Coleman.
Yeah, pretty much only Aaron Coleman and Abrams are going to play out of that group.
Well, right,
Well, and whatever big men are mixed, whatever combo I end up using.
yeah.
Mm.
I still love Tussing. Tusing?
Michael.
Michael Tusing.
I think Tusing.
T guy.
Pronounce it.
Michael
Big T.
Yeah, Michael T guy. Whatever.
Yeah.
I think he's good. I still really like Carlin. I'm not super hot on Farmer, but I think Farmer.
I think his handling went up, so maybe that means his stamina actually went up, and he'll actually be able to like play a full game, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
But I think even if he did start Carlin and use Farmer off the bench at center and power forward, it wouldn't be the worst.
Well, I don't know. I'd probably use Carlin first because Farmers can't really play power forward. Well, unless he's changed in the off season.
That's true.
I'll probably run a similar lineup to last year of Farmer, Carlin, Domingo, Thomas, Leighton, and then I'll have Tusing as the sixth man.
Yeah.
With either Abrams or Coleman. I haven't decided which one of them I want yet. It's kind of tricky. I'll probably use Coleman because I could use the defense, but
you could use the defense. That's true.
We'll see. I'm gonna have a short bench, but I like it. I like our rebounding. I think that's gonna. I'm a huge rebounding guy, and I like most of my big men and everyone for rebounding.
And Domingo can rebound too. Lorenzo Martinez, Marion Turkey.
Adonis usually gets almost 8 rebounds a game too.
Yeah, that's true. I think that you'll be pretty good rebounding, especially when most of the teams we've gone over in the East, we've mentioned rebounding being a problem. So,
well, that's the plan.
I think that helps.
Only beat them by rebounding. Just hope they miss. That's our game plan. And I might consider trying to run like a very fast pace because I have a good depth compared to a lot of teams. So I'm hoping if I tire them out, my bench can sort of beat their bench. And I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes.
That's not a bad strategy to have. Speaking of not a bad strategy to have, let's talk about the 76ers, because that ties in together somehow.
Yeah, their strategy of drafting a power forward ahead of Tim Ashford is, I'm undecided so far. I mean, Zimmerman looks pretty good, but he's going to have to do a lot for me to like him more than Ashford or Alshford or whatever his name was. Yeah.
I'm going to say I think this team might be able to make the playoffs, but I'm going to say they'd be a lock if they took Ashford.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think they can make the playoffs. I mean, I still don't know who their small forward is going to be.
Jonathan Williams.
I guess Jonathan.
Probably Williams by default.
But Royce Lopez had a great TC.
I mean, you could always start Lopez at point guard, move Brandon. Well, I was going to say move Brandon Knight to shooting guard, and then start Rob Andrew at small forward.
Oh yeah, I guess you could do that. They could do a couple things. Ortiz Knight is a combo guard off the bench since he can't really defend much anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have a few things they can do.
You know? They got some okay rebounders. Well, VNAP isn't really as good at rebounding as he's not really good at anything. He's starting to get into Fab Melo territory.
Yeah, but he'll be decent off the bench at least. I would never rely on him to start.
No, but he'll be an alright backup. I think 76ers can make the playoffs this year. I think they can break their streak of non-playoffs.
I agree with that.
They'll be in the mix for the 8th seed along with Cleveland and several others.
I mean, it's going to be hard for them because they're in the better division, like much better, I would say. I feel like the Atlantic
much better by default.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's still not very good compared to the West, but
I think probably
it's got more than 2 teams that you'd consider top contenders.
I think probably any team in the Atlantic besides maybe the Heat and the Nets right now could win the Central. I mean, that's just.
I wouldn't be surprised to see those teams win.
Yeah.
I think the Pacers will probably would.
Oh yeah, the Pacers. The Pacers are pretty damn good. But
speaking of teams, I think could win the Central or win the Atlantic or win the East.
Or
Orlando looks fantastic.
I will start this. I'll start this by saying Orlando is my pick to win the title this year. That's just they are my pick. I strongly love this team.
Yeah, I love everything. I'm no homo. I just love this team.
They have so much.
They got such a good 7-man rotation.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
The rotation's really good.
I mean, you can run with Grundy and Dottie and McAvoy, whatever the hell his name is, Ben
McAvoy.
Ben McAvoy.
Yeah. And then Cole is going to be a great 6th man if they choose to use him in that role, which I would probably do. I mean, they have good defense, good rebounding. Their depth up front is really strong, too.
I don't know. I'd probably start Cole. I think they have enough depth to where they don't need a 6-man. I mean, you could run Cole with Doty backing him up, McAvoy with Kaufman backing him up and Grundy with LJ Rose backing him up, and that seems great
Yeah.
to me.
You could do that if you wanted to have. I guess if you trust Cole more of scoring than Doughty, but
I do. I don't know. I don't like Doughty, I guess. So
if he ran an outside offense, he could probably score a decent amount.
yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. He's got good options. I think they'll probably be the best team in the East. I wouldn't be surprised if they came out and maybe even won the title.
Yeah, this team looks pretty damn good.
I like it.
Their defense looks excellent,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which helps.
This very much reminds me of a old Orlando JV team, like just how it's based on young defensive studs.
Except I think they have a much better scoring than those teams did.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But their defense is not as thorough. But it's I
Just
find
as
they
good.
got better scorers.
yeah. I don't know. This team looks really good to me. We'll see though. I've been wrong before.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been wrong. So
Oh, good point.
my prediction, like last year, I said Denver would be good. Bam, nailed it.
And
killed
that
it.
Cleveland would be terrible? Yeah, you pretty much nailed that one, too.
Boom goes to dynamite on that. Speaking of dynamite, the Knicks blew up some of their team, but they actually kept a lot of it together. Looking at their roster again.
I expect that won't last long though.
No.
I don't think it's lasting long either.
They look good,
Kinda.
I guess.
That's really all you could say. They look good, but not championship
great.
caliber.
I don't know who their small forward is going to be.
Singly.
Singly?
Singleton
Yeah.
or Hairston.
Yeah, I think you gotta go with Singly. He's a rookie. You might as well try him out. You know what you're gonna get from Hairston, and it's not gonna be anything fantastic.
Mhm.
Roser went up on defense, so if he's actually better at defense, that's a good pickup for them.
Yeah, that helps.
Well, not a good pickup, a good improvement for
Good,
them.
yeah.
Caston's a little disappointing. I would have hoped his handling would have got better, but I mean,
Yeah, suddenly
like-
Christopher Lloyd looks better than Castanon.
Yeah, but
Like, I don't know.
I think Castanon did good last. I mean, he had really low turnovers, which helps a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, even though he didn't get like a whole ton of assists, and obviously Freeman is like probably one of the best centers in the league, which helps.
Freeman's a stud.
But
Yeah.
What a man.
I don't know. I don't know about Lloyd. I don't know. I mean, he seems all right, but that contract is like gigantic.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't end up signing him. So
And I don't know if I would start. I guess you could argue about starting him ahead of Castanon, but I don't know. I guess
You could
I'm
go
not
either
enough
way.
to make that decision. But and I like Jeremiah Davis. I think he's a good bench guy.
I love Jeremiah Davis. He's been one of my favorite bench pieces in this league for a long
He's been
time.
Very efficient. Like, look at his career 3-point shoot. Look at all his shooting percentages are ridiculous.
For his career, he's
Yeah,
a 47.
47,
from the field.
44. That's insane.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
he's one of the most efficient, just like purely efficient scorers in EBL history, and he never gets any love.
No, I wanted him. I wanted him bad when I was trying to trade with him. I was trying to get Davis thrown in as much as possible.
I know.
Give me that guy. I want that guy on my team now.
I want him.
I want that guy. But they didn't give him to me.
No, they never
Yeah.
do.
So fuck Bauer. Moving
Yeah.
on.
Let's talk about guys that nobody wants.
Oh, yeah, the Nets.
Yeah.
Jim Ryan looks pretty good.
Decent.
Yeah, he's
20-year-old.
decent for a 20-year-old.
For a 20-year-old,
Of course, he's also a big man, so
You never know.
you never know what the hell's going to happen.
I think Robert Bacon actually looks decent this year. Am I the only one?
No, decent. I would call him decent.
Not number one pick good,
Yeah.
obviously.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. He's
Bust, but decent.
he's going to have a tough time still beating out Juan Johnson. They're still competing who's going to be the worst first overall pick.
Yeah.
I'd still say Bacon is behind for now, but we'll see how the season develops.
Never know.
Vega looks about where he's been. Another amazing first overall pick.
Was Vega? Vega wasn't number one overall, was he?
He was.
Oh wow, yeah, he was.
He was taken
yeah,
by
he
the
was.
man who shall not be named,
Oh yeah,
and who didn't win a title last year.
the guy who's dead to us.
But a team that may have had some of that guys won a title last year.
Right. I
But
still
it was-
hate their point guard situation in New Jersey. I really
Yeah.
do.
I think I've hated it more than I have any other year that we've
Yeah.
done.
Because Seifert looks worse than Spinstead.
It's God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess Seifert's not. I mean, he's 19.
Right.
He can still improve, plenty of time, but right now he doesn't look good at all.
I'm really disappointed in Dirk Van Glider. Especially because he's Canadian. I just saw that, and I'm even more disappointed than I was seconds ago. He's crushed me. He's broken my heart, Dirk.
Oh.
He's broken my heart.
Yeah, I don't know. Callum Merriman looks like he could be decent eventually, but not this year.
Yeah. They got a lot of young guys.
Right.
And
They're gonna have
Crimson's doesn't, I don't know, he hasn't made a trade in like 2 or 3 years, but he does show up at draft at least, and he is pretty good at drafting, but
True.
he needs to make some trades, either to trade for more picks or something. Something needs to be done, because this team ain't gonna win.
Yeah, the Nets are in neutral right now, very poor.
Even in the East, they're going to have a hard time doing much of anything. They're a contender for worst team, but they'll have a hard time beating out the Blazers. God, they're awful.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
Speaking of awful, how about those Heat?
Oh, they're so
pretty
horrible.
awful. Pretty awful.
Yeah.
Way to go, Seattle Slow. Your legacy will be felt by Seth for years to come.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just quit again. I know I would if I came back to this team.
I know it's bad when Vince Anderson is a legitimate candidate to start for you at point guard.
Yeah.
And he was like a waivers pickup by me last year.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I don't know what you do with this team. I really don't.
I feel bad for Ross Falk. That's what I do when I see this team.
Yeah.
Throw it in a grinder. That's what you do with this team.
He deserves a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess they got Falk and Garcia are all right. Joseph is okay.
Right.
Straley could improve still a little bit.
Yeah.
Gonzalez had some really good years. I mean, he's a pretty consistent as far as
yeah. He's
go.
good.
But
And Troop is somewhat okay.
I don't like Troop. He's
I mean-
never been able to rebound, ever.
Right. I think he's better off at small forward, honestly.
I mean,
but
it's nice that he can score, but he just can't rebound. If he couldn't rebound his way out of a wet paper bag,
right.
even though that makes no sense, but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who the hell are they going to start at center? This is horrible.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't.
Grunwald, Pauly, Howard Wright, forget about him. He should have been released.
I mean, it's bad when, I guess they could just start Gonzalez and start Troop, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's very sketchy.
I'd probably go Greenwald, honestly. I mean, might
I'd
as
probably
well.
go with free agent waiver pickup X.
Yeah.
Perry Ellis again.
Well, they
got
could
mentioned
use
more than any player in this.
yeah, a good pickup for them out of free agency might be the guy that I released to make room for some rejects, Paul Tinsley.
Oh,
He
yeah,
had a
he looks
really good. Yeah, if I were the Heat, I'd go for him to play the point.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Why
probably
not?
better than anyone else I have,
Yeah.
for sure.
Or they could sign Patrick Young just so he stays alive in this league because I have a soft spot for him.
Oh, no.
Speaking of teams that are somehow alive in the league, Boston, they look just not really great. They look all right.
I don't know. I kind of like him this year.
I mean, I like them. I think they'll make the playoffs, but it seems like the supporting cast around Purvis is like slowly splintering apart.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I mean, Purvis and Fleming is obviously it's a good duo. It's enviable, but their wings situation is kind of messy. P. Jones is pretty much only going to go downhill from here.
Yeah, he's starting to go down. He's gonna die soon.
Yeah, he's not looking too hot. I mean, I like the Fleming pickup by them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Droppy's got a few things in place to, at least rebuild a little bit. You got the Hornets first. That could be decent this year. You never know.
I mean, I guess I don't know. To start. I guess I'd start Dorian Finney-Smith at small forward because Wells is a bit more versatile. Or well, no, actually, maybe you could start Wells and use Smith as a bench guy because he could cover.
Yeah, but Wells's handles are awful.
Yeah,
I think
that's probably why I'd start him ahead of.
Yeah.
Because Finney-Smith can play down to point guard.
I just don't even know what you would do with this team. I mean, I guess
I'd just go with this team and give it another go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're out of it early, Blackman and Bell and Purvis for that matter, if you wanna try to get some like big time youth form, you'd
Yeah.
look to move them all.
Purvis is ridiculous.
Purvis just looks stupid good. I mean,
Yeah, you'd get a big ass package for that.
this team will probably make the playoffs this year just with Purvis.
Although I think they're
alone.
they're locked. They'll probably have home court in the playoffs. I don't know if they'll win the division, but
Just Purvis
I'd
alone.
say anything lower than a 4 seed would be surprised. I'd be surprised.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think Purvis, Fleming, and Perry Jones can do it by themselves, honestly. And I think everything around them is just going to be bonus. And this team actually has pretty good defense. I mean, all the way around when you look at it, besides Perry Jones, really.
If you have DFS and then you've got, Bell's not very good at defense, but they got Blackman, Purvis, obviously.
Right.
Mhm.
It's not bad.
No.
Yeah, but this is an old team.
I think Jones is also a good guy to pair with Fleming because he can rebound a lot, which is not really Fleming's strong suit,
Absolutely.
to put it politely.
Right.
Mhm.
It's not really something that he's very good at. Although Jones didn't get 10 rebounds a game last year. Somehow he managed to get 9.9.
Yeah, that was weird to me. He only played 31 minutes, so
Yeah,
normally he
that's
plays like 36-ish.
He probably would have got
Yeah.
his usual 12-ish amount.
Yeah, his minutes went down something fierce.
I mean, I think Boston can still compete. I mean, a first round exit and not having home court would both shock me. I think they could probably make it to the second round and lose to somebody.
Yeah.
And
I think they'll be right around there.
or they'll
Mhm.
just beat Washington again, like they do every other time. Fucking Boston. All right, so I guess we can make our title predictions, I suppose. Or
Mhm.
early. Well, I guess we'll start with our conference champions. So I'm gonna say the East. I'm gonna stick with Orlando, like I said before. They seem like the team to beat with their depth.
I'm also going to go with Orlando.
I think the East is wide open for like Orlando, Atlanta, because they got Cool and all those other guys. But yeah, I'll go with Orlando. But it'll be a close conference title game between them and Atlanta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I think the Pacers are probably better than Atlanta. I'm not a big Atlanta backer. As much as Cole and Westbrook are going to score a lot, their big men are just awful.
Yeah, that's pretty dismal.
And for the West, geez, I guess I could pick Denver again. That's usually what I do, but I don't know. I guess somebody else pick first, and I'll keep pondering.
Okay, I'll say Denver. I mean, if we're going to be the ones to say it, although I think the Clippers will give them a run for their money this year.
Yeah, Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
say, I'll say the Suns in one last gasp of
A Black Sheer Magic.
yes,
Interesting that you have the Suns winning the West, and I don't have them in the playoffs. We'll see who's right.
we have now they got rid of Derrick Rose, so they'll be unstoppable. He was clearly holding them back from their title hopes.
Exactly.
We'll see who's right until they get like the 4th seed, and it's right in the middle of what we predicted, and then none of us are right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But so what about your dark horses? I guess for your overall title winner, who do you think is going to win? I'm going to go with, I guess Orlando. I guess the East will break their schneid of failure.
I've got Orlando too. I said that.
I hate to be the buzzkill here, but I'm gonna have to go with the Nuggets one more time.
One last hurrah until they win
One
again.
more
sick
title.
of the West. I'm just sick of the West winning titles personally.
So
They've
am
five
I.
in a row now. So
So am I. I'm sick of it, but at least one more for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I guess so. Who's your dark horse for? We'll start with the West this time. Who do you think your dark horse team is? Like a team that might surprise you and maybe like make a conference title run or something like that.
I don't know, because all the teams I think could do it are all teams that are pretty widely regarded as being good.
Well, I'm gonna go with Minnesota. That's my dark horse team.
See, I went with them last year and they disappointed me, so fuck Minnesota.
I'm going in reverse. Oh, and I guess if you can even count them, Memphis, I suppose would be another dark horse. But
Yeah,
I like
I
Minnesota.
don't count them as dark horse, so.
Especially if Minnesota can actually get another big man, I think they can make the conference finals. They could have that sort of a run with the guys they have.
I'll go
Go
Oklahoma, I guess. I mean,
Oklahoma.
I'm not sure how much of a dark horse it is with Tyreek and Nanad and
Yeah, but they're a lot older now. Tyreek's 36.
Yeah, that's true.
Such.
The old.
I think they can make one last go of it, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I was going to pick the Thunder for one last gasp. They get to the conference finals, but get derailed by the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Again.
Be a fitting end.
It'd be a fitting end.
Poor Baldwin.
I know.
Well, he's not poor yet. We got to wait for him to lose to Denver first before we start saying that. In the East, I guess anyone that wins will be a dark horse, but
anyone that's not the Magic will be considered a dark horse for me, or the Pacers, I guess.
Yeah. I'll go. Actually, someone else go first. I'll have to think about this very carefully.
Well, considering I'm the only one here who's not in the East, my opinion, I feel like matters the most, right?
It's obviously it's the most unbiased of all the opinions.
Right, there we go. And
Sure.
so I will say my pick's the Wizards. Not even because Hodge is here. Not even because I care.
It's a great pick. It's a great pick. So
Yeah.
A solid pick. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean,
I guess I'll go Chicago as my dark horse. Even though I hate the fact they're going to have only 4 starters, but they still can make it to the conference final.
They have no bench. They ain't got a
Forget
shot.
no bench.
At
They only have 4 starters.
I'll tell you who I think should be a dark horse, and I'm not not to toot my own horn, but you know what?
I bet he says
Why not the Cavaliers? Why not?
Do you really want me to explain why not?
I mean, I'm due for something good to happen. I keep getting screwed out of the number 1 pick by the lotto. I'm due for something good to happen, for Christ's sake, stop!
So who's your real dark horse pick? Seriously.
Oh, man. I don't have one.
That's
I'm
a really
very,
dark horse.
Yeah.
That's like
if I have to go with a dark horse, if I absolutely have to pick one, Indiana. Not exactly a dark horse, but
Nah, not I don't know.
I
don't
pass.
Really
Next question, please.
I feel like we just let Lewis Black into our podcast. I don't know. I don't know when that happened.
Why not us? All right, I guess MVP. I'm gonna go with Purvis again.
Oh, you're so original all the time.
Hey, I could have said Pierre Lewis. That would have been the other original pick to gem to pull out.
Oh man.
You can pick Domingo Southard if you want.
Oh, I might do that.
I wouldn't.
Oh. Who do I got? I'll go David O'Neal. I think him in a new scenery with no one else around him, his numbers are going to be inflated. I think he'll win MVP.
Yeah? I don't think he's got enough scores to get his assists high enough around him.
I think he'll find a way to pass to himself and make it count as an assist. I don't know.
Nice. That'd be awesome.
I'm not gonna lie. I think you know what?
You're not gonna pick a Cavalier, are you?
If you say
Tim Ashford. No, I'm kidding.
Austin Rivers.
If you
no.
If you say Yarnison, I'm ending this call right now. I mean,
yeah. You're gonna get booted out of it. This will be your last podcast.
No. Adrian Cool is my pick. I wanted him in free agency. I think he is the real deal. 27 points a game last season. I think he could win the MVP.
I think he's probably in the running last season, so I think that's probably a pretty good pick there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we have to pick long shot MVPs, I'll say Van Sip. I think this could be a year where he gets it done.
I'll say Ray Bonds, I guess.
Yeah, that's real long shot.
Okay, I guess it's not. Okay, I'll say Gary Hamilton then. Is that a long shot? Does that count?
Yeah, whatever. Fuck him.
Even though he won the playoff MVP last year, your favorite player?
I hate him enough to make it a long shot. It works. If I were balloting MVPs, he'd be the biggest long shot.
Perfect.
I don't really have a long shot MVP candidate, but you know what?
Lewis, maybe?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Pierre Lewis.
Yeah.
Hell with it. long shot.
Fair.
Those 30 points per game is really going to help him in that long road to MVP.
Well, now he's finally got off his lazy ass and could rebound.
Right.
Yeah.
That slacker. Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Maybe I should have picked him for MVP.
I hate that.
I can't believe he almost had 9 rebounds the year before.
Yeah, he's going to have like 10 this year, and Wiggins is going to have like 11, and Bueller's going to have like
He's
12.
gonna average like a power forward with like point guard assists and fucking small forward swagger about him.
Oh, all right, guys. I think
He's a good player.
we've done enough here. This is enough.
We've done enough. So there it is, the super amazing, awesome season preview prediction spectacular with Pacer Pride.
Yep.
Go sign Perry Ellis.
Go do it.
Someone
out.
sign Paul Tinsley.
Yes, and him.
And please bring the Cavaliers some justice.
Yes.
Yes,
Why
justice
not?
for Mania. Justice for Mania.
That's going to be a thing. It's trending on
Yeah.
Twitter right now.
It's going to be in everybody's SIGs by the end of this podcast.
Oh, man.
Jesus.
I've got
You're
to
welcome.
I've got to go to bed. I've got to eat. I've got to get away from this.
All right.
Too much.
Later, fellas. Later.
This has been good.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.